Today we're going to talk about 7 signs that your ex is miserable without you. Now, perhaps one of the greatest things about having an audience and having a message that actually works is that we get to see a lot of different success stories. We get to actually see how our strategies work on specific exes. Therefore, we get to see a lot of the exes who are miserable without their ex-relationship partner. So today, I'd like to give you 7 real-life signs that we have noticed from exes who are pretty miserable without you. But first, if you have not already, make sure you take our Ex Recovery Chances quiz. Now, if you don't know what this is, it's pretty simple. One of the biggest questions that we get asked almost on a daily basis is what kind of chance people have of actually getting their exes back. So we actually worked to put together a quiz that you can take right here, right now, to give you kind of an idea of where you stand with your ex. Now, if this quiz sounds like something you're interested in, it's really easy to take. Just simply look in the description link below this YouTube video and click on it. It's really that simple. Okay, let's start talking about the 7 signs that your ex is completely miserable without you. Sign number 1, the glorification of the high points of the relationship. So this is kind of an interesting sign that we've noticed. Oftentimes when you communicate with your ex, you'll have lots of different types of communication. Sometimes your ex will be kind of standoffish, sometimes they'll be extremely excited to talk to you. This particular guy who's extremely miserable without you will glorify the high points of your relationship. Now, what's interesting is actually how they go about this. So when they're having a conversation with you, they'll constantly bring up, hey, do you remember that time that we did this thing? Hey, do you remember that time that we did this thing? Oh, that was so fun. Let's do that again someday. This is a perfect example of someone who glorifies the high points of the relationship. And it's also a perfect example of someone who's thinking a lot about it in their free time, to the point where they can't help but just bring it up when they actually communicate with you. It's one of the first signs we see towards exes who are miserable without you. Sign number 2, their fatal flaw is how stubborn they are. In this particular case, when you're looking at an ex who is miserable without you, I think it kind of goes hand in hand with how stubborn they are. You are the source of their misery, or rather their inability to get back into a relationship with you. Some men are actually so stubborn when they are the ones who broke up with you, they're not going to change their mind for any good reason. So their ability to be so stubborn about this fact can actually be their fatal flaw. It can be the source of their misery. So what is the fix here? Well, ideally, someone who's stubborn would stop being stubborn and just admit, hey, I miss you. Let's get back together. But that never happens because most of the time, people who are extremely miserable are extremely stubborn. Sign number 3, your ex envies your successes. So one of the big things that we push on our websites is this methodology to teach every woman to become ungettable. It's this idea that you essentially become the woman every man wants, but no man can get. And there's a lot of sort of ideas and strategies and philosophies that goes into becoming ungettable. One of those philosophies is just to have all sorts of success in your life, pretty much from every aspect of your life, from your health to the wealth to even your relationships with your friends, family, and even lovers. So one thing that we notice happens is that when we explain the idea that you need to become ungettable to our clients, and they actually go out and succeed in some way, shape, or form into becoming ungettable, their exes will take notice and envy their successes. So how do you know they're envying that success? Well, quite frankly, it happens a lot on social media. Let's say you get a big promotion at work and you post about it on social media. The first one to comment and like the photo is your ex. Let's say you are super excited because you had this amazing workout and you post a really sexy picture of you working out. The first one to comment and like and say something is your ex. If you notice this pattern going time and time again, where your ex is envying you and your success or feeling like they're missing out on it, it's a good sign that they're thinking a lot about you and therefore probably are a little miserable without you. Sign number 4, after a long-term relationship with you, they can't stop going on the rebound. Now, I think the key word there is long-term relationship. If you were your ex's last long-term relationship and yet he's had 3 or 4 new girlfriends that he's slept with, this is actually a perfect type of behavior to explain how miserable he is. Now, why would he be miserable? He's dating all of these new girls, maybe even sleeping with them. Well, it's the fact that he's never found someone to settle down with. He's just going from rebound to rebound to rebound, almost replacing or distracting himself from the feelings of despair that he feels from you. Now, if you're sitting there and calling BS, I want you to sit back and listen to what I'm about to say. We, the ex recovery team, and I don't just coach women trying to get their exes back or trying to move on from their exes. We actually also coach men who are trying to do the same thing. And what's interesting is with some of our men clients, we see a pretty common behavior in them simply dating to distract themselves. We even had a few men clients admit that they've slept with other people just to not deal with their feelings. So if you're sitting there and thinking, there's no way that my ex could do something like this, we've seen it time and time again. If your ex is constantly going on the rebound, it could be a sign that he's miserable without you. Sign number 5. A significant increase in their contact with you. This one is pretty self-explanatory. Let's say that you go through a breakup and you're not really communicating with each other. You're implementing something like the no contact rule per our advice. But after the no contact rule, your ex reaches out to you more and more and more, and it becomes this consistent thing where you start to notice not only the consistency in which they're reaching out to you rising, but also the intensity of the conversations you're having is increasing as well. Now, why would this be a sign that your ex is miserable without you? Well, think of the cause and effect chain that's going on here. If being away from you is making your ex miserable, then it stands to reason they're going to try to slowly but surely embrace a way that they can stop the misery from happening. And a lot of times that's just simple communication. If you're texting a lot, if he's calling a lot, if he's saying things on Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram, if you're seeing a consistent increase in not only the consistency but also the intensity, it's a great sign that not only your ex is miserable without you, but they're maybe even interested in you. Sign number 6. On social media, they'll be sad and their actions will reflect that. Now, we've all seen that extremely hilarious meme on how men and women handle breakups. At first, women are extremely sad and depressed, but slowly but surely, they blossom into the beautiful butterfly that they are. Men, on the other hand, after a breakup are extremely excited and happy. Yay, ding dong, the witch is dead, until time goes on and they become a depressed caterpillar. I know, that's kind of a weird analogy. But perhaps the most hilarious part about the meme is how true it actually is. Yes, women often come to us immediately after their breakup. They're distraught, they're depressed, they're sad, they're angry, they're all the emotions you could possibly imagine. And by working with us, they often blossom and are a new person or feel like they've moved past the breakup. Their exes, on the other hand, sometimes the exact opposite will occur. And you can often see this metamorphosis on Facebook. Let's say that one day you look at your ex and he's looking pretty good. And then a few months go by and he's gained all sorts of weight. He's drinking. He's sort of just looking extremely depressed. He's making all of these mopey sort of comments on songs that somehow have some hidden meaning related to your relationship. These are great examples of men who are miserable after the breakup. Sign number 7, your ex becomes a hermit. Now, this entire video has essentially been a masterclass in manipulation of feelings specifically. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, so far we've been talking about your ex and what makes them miserable, and the one consistency or pattern that I am noticing is occurring here is your ex's ability to distract himself or herself from their feelings, right? So there's a lot of different ways you can do this. Some people eat, some people drink, some people sleep with all sorts of rebounds. But without a doubt, the most common type of way of distracting is simply becoming a hermit. doing nothing, staying inwards, becoming introverted. So if your ex is an extremely extroverted person and you notice they're all of a sudden introverted, there's a complete change of behavior. It's a great example that not only are they turning into a hermit, but they're also extremely miserable without you. Hey, thank you so much for getting to the end of the video. If you haven't already, make sure you stop everything you're doing and take the Ex Recovery Chances quiz. It's a simple 2-minute quiz designed to tell you what kind of chance you have of getting your ex back. Now, taking the quiz is really easy. Just look in the description link below this YouTube video and click on it. That is it. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the Chris Sider YouTube channel so that you can get updates anytime a new video comes out, or even updates anytime we respond to one of your comments. Again, thank you so much. I'll see you guys next time.